Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and the Washington Commanders are reportedly, there's some rumors going around that we are attached to elite edge rusher Khalil Mack. We may be targeting him in free agency. We're going to break down why this is literally the perfect match for both parties. Both Khalil Mack, why he would want to join the Commanders, and why the Commanders will want him. We're also going to talk about what his potential cost could be, his market value. How much would it cost the Washington Commanders contract-wise to go and sign a guy like this? And before we get into everything, first of all, you already know this video was sponsored by US Sportsbook and Casino, and make sure you stiff on that like button, stiff on the subscription button, and stiff on the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all of the content. Really appreciate y'all for supporting every video, pulling up, liking every video. And again, I'm not playing with y'all. Y'all see I'm out here doing 2-3 videos a day. I was not lying to y'all. So make sure y'all have that notification bell clicked in so you get notified every single time I release these videos, because I have so many video ideas, and then there's new breaking news every week and every day. So make sure you stay tuned to everything Washington Commanders. I got you covered. Draft, free agency. We still have a lot of video ideas just reflecting on the season that we just had. So make sure you're on the lookout for that as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this video right now, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so all of this started when Heavy.com, aka Heavy Sports, had an article that was titled "Premier Free Agent Can Be Another Bobby Wagner for the Washington Commanders." I like the way they worded that too, because we did pick up Bobby Wagner and it worked out very well for us. Going directly from their article that they just put out like a couple of days ago, they said signing Bobby Wagner in 2024 NFL free agency proved to be an inspired move by the Washington Commanders, giving a rebuilding team veteran leadership and proven playmaking capability, two things premier defensive end Khalil Mack can provide in this year's free agency cycle. That's the idea from Mason Cameron of actually Pro Football Focus. So my fault. Shouts out to Pro Football Focus, who pointed out how Washington found success adding a seasoned linebacker in Bobby Wagner and could benefit from a similar move by bringing in Khalil Mack. So we're going to the Pro Football Focus article that is the real catalyst for all of this. I saw Heavy.com's article first, and now I'm realizing, hey, shouts out to Pro Football Focus, because they're the ones that put this together. They have like a whole article breaking down best landing spots for Pro Football Focus's top 15 free agents, and we're just starting with defense. They have Javon Holland. They saying the Denver Broncos for him. DJ Reed, they're saying the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though I think we're a good match for him as well. Javon Holland would be nice for us, but that would be too much money, but we could probably talk about that in another video. They have Josh Sweat going to the Titans. They have Hassan Reddick going to the Cardinals. Is that it? They have Charvarius Ward going to the Giants, even though I would love to get him here for the Washington Commanders. They have Rasul Douglas going to the Vikings. They have that edge rusher Malcolm from the Las Vegas Raiders. They have him going to the Bears. They have Dre Greenlaw going to the Rams. They have Carlton Davis going to the Jets. Talanoa Hufanga going to the Giants. They have Asante Samuel Jr. going to the Raiders. And then they have that Osa defensive tackle from the Dallas Cowboys that I really want, and I feel like may actually for real end up with the Washington Commanders. They have him going to the 49ers. They have Cameron Bynum of the Vikings going to the Colts. Milton Williams going to the Cardinals. Just to kind of read through all of them real quick, just to kind of give you an idea of what they're doing here. And so for Khalil Mack, with a 92.2 Pro Football Focus grade, they felt like his best landing spot was the Washington Commanders. And their overall grade for him as far as free agents goes is 5. They feel like he's the 5th best available free agent, regardless of position. Out of the entire NFL, everybody that's free agents, unrestricted free agents, right now, they feel like he's the 5th best. They said even after 11 seasons, Khalil Mack remains one of the NFL's premier edge rushers and is graded in the top 6 at the position in each of the past 2 years. Don't sleep on that. Over that span, the veteran has racked up 139 pressures, including an impressive 27 sacks, proving he's still a dominant force. Washington found success adding a seasoned leader in Bobby Wagner and could benefit from a similar move by bringing in Khalil Mack. The Commanders' defense has struggled to generate pressure without blitzing, ranking 7th lowest in pressures created with just 4 or fewer rushers. So make sure you keep that in mind, man. Like, there's a clear need on this team for this guy. And when we dive into like some of his stats and his Pro Football Focus grades and like all of the different grades that he has, like run defense, pass rush, we're going to truly break down why the Washington Commanders are going really need this guy. I'm going to compare him to the other edge rushers that we currently have on our team right now. And shouts out to BVM Sports Desk, because they also did an article on it, and they talked about how if the Commanders secure Khalil Mack, they can see an immediate impact on the defensive capabilities, allowing them to address other positions of need through the draft or additional free agent signings. I mean, to handle edge rusher and free agency, and then we can focus on all of the other needs beyond that, that would make things way easier for us. And they said, bottom line, signing Khalil Mack could prove to be a game-changing decision for the Washington Commanders, providing the veteran leadership and performance needed to elevate their defense while allowing the organization to address multiple other roster needs. We're going to talk about towards the end of the video how much it'll cost and why I feel like we can sign him and still go get other big names if you're interested in like a T. Higgins or something like that. I don't believe Khalil Mack will be as expensive as some people may think. Again, we're going to dive into that towards the end of the video. And I mean, first of all, of course, before we get too excited, do the Chargers even plan on moving on from Khalil Mack? I mean, there's no point in talking about any of this if the Chargers plan to re-sign him, if he's like a top offseason priority, if we've heard any rumors or reports that they're going to prioritize him or anything like that. And from the way everybody's talking about him, from the Chargers side of things, you know, this is just from me doing my simple research myself, it sounds like he will be available. I mean, it's not completely ruled out that the Chargers will end up re-signing him, but it also sounds like Khalil Mack is at the very least going to test free agency and see what's out there. Shouts out to a Chargers reporter that via Fox Sports, they talked about how Chargers Khalil Mack reportedly plans to play in 2025 after Mullen retirement. You'll see why I'm bringing this up soon. Khalil Mack will be back on the gridiron next fall. The star edge rusher, who'll turn 34 in February, will hold off retirement for another season and is expected to play in the 2025 season. ESPN reported Wednesday, and this was back on January 22nd, so you got to go back a couple of days before that Mack openly contemplated retiring after the Los Angeles Chargers wild card round loss to the Houston Texans. That was the moment where he was like, man, I'm not even sure if I want to play football anymore. But really, the whole thing is, it sounds like he doesn't want to play football for the Chargers specifically, but it kind of hit him hard. He's probably emotional after the loss and was like, man, I'm just done with all of this right now. We're going to get into it. His exact quote was when he told reporters, quote, "It's a lot of different thoughts in my head right now. I can't really speak on a definitive decision on what I'm going to do. I have to talk to my wife, spend some time with my kids, and try not to make a rash decision after a loss. I'm trying not to be emotional through this process and think clearly," unquote. Like I said, continuing with the article, while Mack plans to continue playing in 2025, where he does so remains to be seen. He's set to become a free agent when the new league year starts in March, marking the first time in his entire NFL career that he'll actually have a chance to hit the open market. Think about that. This is his first time really being able to go around to other teams and being like, hey, what you talk about? Hey, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? This is his first time at 34 years old, finally hitting the open market. I think that's a big key here. He's probably going to take full advantage of that. Matt could generate a good amount of buzz in free agency if the Chargers don't extend him before then. He was a Pro Bowler for the ninth in his 11-year career in just 2024. A Pro Bowler just this past season. Do not sleep on him. Recording 39 total tackles, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. That's my main theme. If there's anything you take away from this video, is that Khalil Mack still has a lot of juice left in the tank. He may not be 100% what he once was in his full-blown prime, even before he got to the Chargers, even since he was with the Chargers. Just 2 years ago, he just had 15 sacks. So I want y'all to make sure, no matter what happens in this video, remember that he still has some juice in the tank, and yes, he will make this defense better. Now, it's up to you to determine whether he's worth the price that he may potentially be asking for. Again, we're going to talk about that towards the end of the video. But yes, Khalil Mack still got it. He just made a Pro Bowl this past 2024 season, the same 2024 season that Jaden Daniels led the Commanders to an NFC Championship game. That is the same year. We're not talking about years ago. The Khalil Mack was just a Pro Bowler. His 107.5 sacks since entering the NFL in 2014 are the third most over that span. And Khalil Mack ranks second in quarterback pressures over that span with 454, forced fumbles with 32, and strip sacks with 24, and he leads the league in hurries with 256. in that time span. That is absolutely insane production right there. And what's even crazier, we're going to talk about it a little later in the video, that he's arguably the best edge setting run defender as far as edge rushers go in the NFL. So all of that pass rush upside, pass rush production and things like that, but he's also able to set the edge, and that's arguably one of the biggest weaknesses on this entire team. I'm still working on a video breaking down what are the exact top weaknesses for the Commanders that we need to address in free agency, the draft, this entire offseason and things like that. And the reason it's taking so long is because I'm really trying to make sure I come down with like a definitive ranking that I'm comfortable with, because right now, every day I wake up, man, that O-line, man. Then I wake up, man, these receivers, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to put that together, but I feel like, honestly, offensive line is probably our very biggest priority, not because it's our weakest position group. I don't think our offensive line is the weakest position group, but Jaden Daniels is our biggest priority. He's our biggest asset. Nothing goes without Jaden Daniels being on that field and healthy. So I feel like the offensive line needs to be prioritized the most, just simply because we finally have a top 5 quarterback, one of those elite guys. We got to make sure we protect them. But you could argue the biggest weakness on the team was stopping the run, especially runs to the outside. Khalil Mack not only gives you way better pass rush upside than anybody else we have on this roster right now, even though Dorrance Armstrong looked pretty good at times with flashes, and then Dante Fowler in his limited role still managed to get double-digit sacks. Khalil Mack also brings that. I would say that he's even better at that than those guys, because he gets more attention than those guys, and he's still productive. And at the same time, he's also arguably the best run-stopping, edge-setting edge rusher in the NFL. So he fixes multiple problems in one person. But I'm telling you, we definitely look like winners right now, right? Khalil Mack's, pondering, should I just give up on football and things like that? Well, he could potentially be interested in the Commanders, because he probably just doesn't want to play for the Chargers right now. That's probably the biggest problem. The Fox Sports article finished up by saying, should he hit free agency, expect Mack to prioritize playing for a winner. His comments after the Chargers' season-ending loss indicated as much. Again, looking at the Commanders, we do look like winners, right? You would say? So I could definitely see Khalil Mack showing some serious interest in the Commanders, but why would the Commanders be interested in him? We've established why he would want to go to the Commanders, even though it was very brief. I mean, we're definitely looking like Super Bowl contenders. We were just in the NFC Championship, and we still have a clear need of edge rusher. So my whole thing is, the reason why this past season was so great was not only did we overachieve, I feel like overachieve, like putting that label on that team is a little disrespectful to a guy like Jaden Daniels, where I feel like he got us exactly where we should have been. I feel like Jaden Daniels is worthy of going to an NFC Championship. So I hate saying overachieve, but I feel like the roster from top to bottom overachieved. And so we reached the NFC Championship, but the way that we lost to the Eagles still showed, top players around the NFL, you can still join this team without pulling on our coattail or, jumping on the bandwagon, this rocket ship that's already taken off. No, you could join this team. We make it to the Super Bowl, and you will be one of the reasons we made it to the Super Bowl. I feel like it's the perfect advertisement for free agents. We have all of this potential, but we still need you. We're not just this complete team where you're just jumping on the 85 Bears already. You're jumping on the Randy Moss, Tom Brady Patriots, where you're not going to be given credit for any success because the team was already great before you got there. Just like the Warriors when KD pulled up. We're not that. You know what I'm saying? So this is the perfect situation for a guy like a Khalil Mack to not only go to a contender, but then to be one of the main reasons that the contender goes to the next level. I feel like it's perfect for us. Now, why do we want him? Well, first of all, he's very durable and barely ever misses games. I don't think people understand. I mean, his only serious injury was a foot injury back in 2021 where he had to miss weeks 11 through 18. Other than that, this guy is always playing. I mean, we could just go all the way back to 2022. He hasn't missed any games except for one this past season. He missed one game this past season, and he never missed another game since all the way back in 2022. And then again, he had that 8-week stretch where he missed some games in 2021, but 2020 and 2019 he never missed a game as well. This is a very durable guy outside of one real injury, and again, he only missed one game in a 3-year span going all the way back to 2022. Come on, man, we could always use some more health at the very least, let alone his upside. We're gonna dive into his upside soon, his Pro Football Focus grades, and where exactly does he make our team much better. We're gonna dive into a lot of his stats and how they rank across the NFL compared to other edge rushers, especially in this free agency class. But before we do, You already know, man, this show is provided by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. If you're looking for a new sportsbook, it should be BetUS for sure. First of all, they have the fastest payouts in the industry, and I know y'all want y'all money fast. And right now, BetUS is offering you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits for up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. That's YOUTUBE150. And they have a fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process too. So it's really like, why not, for real? Now let's dive into some bets that we can get into directly through their website. Well, even though it is the Chiefs and the Eagles and not the Commanders, if you're still excited about the Super Bowl and you want to get into some bets there, you can go directly to betus.com and look at the fact that, A, first scoring play of the game. Do you like the chances that a Chiefs field goal will be the first point scored in this upcoming Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles? I mean, look at all of the different scenarios that you can get into with the Eagles touchdown, Eagles field goal, anything like that. But if you believe that a Chiefs field goal will be the first point scored in that entire game with the plus 330 odds, if you put $100 down, you will win $330 before the first quarter's up, because, you know, by then somebody would have scored. And I think there is a chance. I think there's a good chance that it may be the Chiefs. So if you put down $100, you could end up winning $330. But of course, I'm always going to scream at y'all over and over again to please make sure you gamble responsibly if you don't do nothing else. And again, right now, BetUS is offering you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits for up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. And again, please make sure you gamble responsibly. Now let's talk about how Khalil Mack can help the Commanders in a big way. Matter of fact, multiple big ways. And now this is Rico just getting back home 3 hours later from the previous couple of minutes. Either way though, let's dive into Khalil Mack and how he can help the Commanders. Again, we've already talked about why he would want to be with the Commanders. Why would the Commanders want him? Let's talk about it. Well, going to Pro Football Focus, shouts out to them for providing a lot of the stats that really matter, because he was 40th in solo tackles out of all edge rushers. He was 115th in assists. Those are all right. But he was 8th in forced fumbles with 2 out of all edge rushers. He was also 1st in batted down passes with 6. You know, if you think back throughout this entire season, how many times did the Washington Commanders defensive line bat down passes? Probably not even a combined 6 times this season. Khalil Mack did it the most out of any edge rusher in the NFL with a total of 6. He was also 26th in pressures with 49. He was 33rd in quarterback hits with 8. He was 22nd in hurries with 34. So again, technically like a down year statistically for him. But I mean, Pro Football Focus, you know, I don't always necessarily agree with them, but you could tell that they don't just look at stats only. They felt like his overall grade was worth a 90.4 overall. That's 5th out of 211 edge rushers that played in the NFL this season that even qualify for a grade. His pass rush grade was a 79.9. I know, you know, that's not the best of the best, but that's still way better than anybody on this team posted. And then that's also 16th out of 211 edge rushers as well. The only person even relatively close to Khalil Mack in pass rush grade this season is Dorrance Armstrong, but his overall grade is nowhere near the 90.4 that Khalil Mack has from this past season. Dorrance Armstrong has a 65.3 overall grade. We're going to get there. But then also run defense grade. He is 2nd out of all edge rushers with an 88 overall grade, run defense, setting the edge wise. And boy, like I said, that's arguably one of our biggest needs, one of our biggest weaknesses on this team. I would love to get more pass rush ability from our defensive line. It would be really nice if we can get to the quarterback by only rushing 4. That would allow us to use the other 7 guys to help in coverage. That would help us a lot. I mean, that would make it to where maybe you don't need to prioritize cornerback as much in the offseason. If you could just make it just, that's how the Eagles beat us. They can get pressure on the quarterback with only sending 4 defensive linemen. They don't need to send a bunch of blitzes. They can send everybody else in coverage and make the opposing quarterback's life miserable. We need to get to that point. But at the same time, at least we were okay at rushing the passer this past season. Dante Fowler reached double-digit sacks this year. Dorrance Armstrong, again, had a 78 pass rush grade, so they felt like he was one of the better pass rushers in the NFL, like at least top 30 out of all edge rushers in the NFL. But run defense-wise, we were atrocious. I mean, let's just go ahead and move on to the Commanders. Our highest run defense grade out of any commander was Javonte Jean-Baptiste, but he didn't even play enough to like actually be ranked out of all edge rushers. Then second they felt was F.A. Obata. He only played 84 snaps this season for us, so he didn't receive any like formal ranking among all edge rushers as well. You got to get the Cleveland Farrell to have like, and again, Javonte Jean-Baptiste 58.3 run defense grade, F.A. Obata 56.4, then Cleveland Farrell, who was 110th out of 119 edge rushers overall, just period, in overall grade, had the third highest run defense grade out of our edge rusher group with a 55. Again, mind you, Cleveland Farrell, second best run defense grade with an 88. I don't think y'all understand how much of a chasm that is. I don't care how old Khalil Mack is. He's way better at setting the edge and stopping the run than anybody we've had on this team this entire season, arguably in who knows how long, honestly. And I feel like Chase Young and Montez Sweat, I mean, say what you want about them, but at least they could set the edge. They weren't allowing guys to run outside on them, and this defensive line for sure did. Boy, you could run outside anytime you wanted. The edge was almost never set. And that really hurt us, like, because we couldn't stop the run on the outside, so we had to send some of our secondary guys to kind of help contribute, put more people in the box and stop the run, which is what made us weak against the pass. So if we can stop the run with just the 4 guys or rush the passer with just the 4 guys, that's going to make everything easier for the back 7. I'm telling you, that alone. And then even just pass rush wise, again, that boy Khalil Mack was 16th out of 211 edge rushers with a 79.9. Then you have Dorrance Armstrong, who had a 78, which is like almost 2 points less than that. And then after that, you have to go to Dante Fowler, who had double-digit sacks, but he had a 63.6 pass rush grade. Then Cleveland Farrell with a 58.8. Then Andre Jones with a 52.7. Then Jalen Holmes with a 52.6. And it just keeps going down and down and down. It was literally Khalil Mack, then slight gap, Dorrance Armstrong, huge gap, anybody else on the Commanders, in the Commanders edge rusher group. So I'm telling you right now that we have a huge need for Khalil Mack here, man. I mean, a really, really big need, man. And this was a down year for him. Don't forget that. Like, to his standard, 2024 was not a great year for him. His 2024 season, at the same time, though, would be a dream case scenario for any edge rusher that we currently have on roster right now. I mean, in every way but sacks, honestly, literally, that's the only stat to where it's like, okay, you know, we already had Dante Fowler, who was double digit. But outside of that, everything else Khalil Mack did in 2024 would be like the best case scenario for anybody on this defensive line that was already on the team. But just as recently as 2023, like literally the previous season, the season before the one that just happened, that guy just had 15 sacks. 15 with 77 combined tackles with 24 quarterback hits. We're talking about just 2 years ago. I mean, shouts out to Pro Football Focus, because at the end of the 2023 season, they've ranked the best edge rushers from that season going into the 2024 season. They have Myles Garrett 1, Micah Parsons 2, Nick Bosa 3, Max Crosby 4, TJ Watt 5, and then Khalil Mack was 6. They credited him with 18 sacks. I don't know exactly now how Pro Football Focus does it, but their sack totals are always different from like everybody else's ESPN Pro Football Wrestlers. But either way, 11 quarterback hits, 59 quarterback hurries, 88 total pressures, a win rate of 18.2%, and a pressure rate of 17.3%. Just to let you know, the only players above him on this list that have higher win rate and pressure rates than him are Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and Nick Bosa. But even Max Crosby and TJ Watt had lower win rates and pressure rates than Khalil Mack in 2023. And they even said in the article, again, this is at the end of the 2023 season going on to the 2024 season, they said Max set career highs in sacks and batted down passes with 6, and then he continued to do that in 2024 with the batted down passes wise at 32 years old in 2023. He finished in top 3 in forced fumbles with 6 and tackles for loss or no gain with 15, while recording his first season with over 70 total pressures since 2019. You could argue that his trajectory is actually getting like going upward. I mean, 2024 again was like a slight regression for him, but a regression for him is a huge progress for anybody we currently have on roster. Mack played 606 snaps at rush linebacker, 65%, and graded out as the second best edge defender from that alignment with a 90.7. I'm telling y'all, he's still got some juice. But again, even if he ends up being more of his 2024 self than even his 2023 self that I just gave you the stats from, and we ended up signing him, that would still solve the biggest weakness we have on this team, which is, again, stopping the run and setting the edge. Again, say whatever you want about Montez Sweat and Chase Young, but people weren't running on the outside against them like running backs were doing against us all season this past year. Khalil Mack is arguably the best edge rusher in the entire NFL. And we're talking about 2024 when I say that. Yeah, his pass rush stats regressed a little bit, but setting the edge and stopping the run on the outside, he was still arguably the best at that just this past season. And I'm pretty sure he still has a lot of that in him moving forward. I mean, sign me up for that any day, especially at the right price. And speaking of the right price, let's talk about how much we think Khalil Mack could potentially cost if we actually do go and pursue him. Like, what could his actual contract and cap hit look like? Well, shouts out to a Los Angeles Chargers reporter, because they said, according to Spot Track, Mack's current market value stands at $6.8 million for a potential annual salary. I feel like, especially with him about to be 34 years old, I think the max we sign him for is 2 years, but I'm pretty sure with the way Adam Peters and these guys do business, it would probably just be at a 1 year at a time situation. Even with Bobby Wagner, he balled out. I'm pretty sure we're more than likely going to end up re-signing him for this next season, but he's going to be like a permanent 1 year contract type of guy moving forward until he retires. I believe Khalil Mack will probably be the same thing here, at the furthest 2 years, but I'm pretty sure he'll probably just end up getting 1 year, and they feel like he would only get $6.8 million on an annual salary. So if we signed him for 1 year, say like 7, you can even round up by 1.2 million, take it all the way up to 8 million. I would sign up for that any day. Khalil Mack for 8 million? Come on now. That can't be true. There's no way Spot Track actually ran the numbers correctly, because I feel like he should get at least 15. I'd give him 15 for on a 1 year deal. Yes, please sign me up for that. And then also, before we get up out of here, I mean, how do Chargers fans and reporters feel about him? Do they want him back? Do they feel like they will lose out on him? Well, going back to that same Chargers reporter from Sports Illustrated, he said, pros of the Chargers re-signing Khalil Mack. Mack's presence on the field alone is enough to bring him back next season. The future Hall of Famer had 7 sacks this past season and would be a massive piece in the pass rush rotation once again in 2025. Now, the cons of the Chargers re-signing Khalil Mack: father time comes for everyone, and it's not a secret that Mack will be 34 years old next season. 34 is considered ancient in a league looking to get younger at every turn. Mack's sack total declined drastically this season after getting 17 last year again. Well, the year before in 2023, and he had 7 in 2024. His decline in his performance, has it potentially already started? That's what he questions. And then the verdict: Mack's name value will bring many suitors looking to bring his skill set to their franchise. Even with his sack numbers down, Mack still proved to be a key piece to the Chargers defense and could be a great veteran presence for the unit in 2025. So that should tell you everything you need to know. The Chargers fans want him back. If the Commanders can somehow get a chance to steal him away from the Chargers, you do that. Again, especially at the price the Spot Track is projecting, $6.8 million? What? Come on, man. Sign me up for that any day, man. Please, man. He will be making less money than Andrew Wiley. Did you know that Andrew Wiley's going to be a $10.4 million cap hit this upcoming season? And I like Andrew Wiley, but if you can get Khalil Mack for cheaper than Andrew Wiley, around $4 million cheaper than Andrew Wiley, boy, you go do that immediately. Whatever it takes. I'll contribute. I'll donate to the cause if I got to. Please go get us Khalil Mack, in my opinion. But of course, that's the end of this video. Please make sure you stiff on that like button, stiff on the subscription button, stiff on the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. And of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about this whole Khalil Mack situation. Do you want to sign up for Khalil Mack? And let me know what's the maximum price you'd be willing to give him, because I'm assuming all of us will be down for $6.8 million. I can't necessarily see anybody being like $6.8 million for it's still, even though he's old, an elite edge rusher that could, at the very least, at the worst case scenario, be our best edge setting, run stopping edge rusher on this team. I feel like anybody would do it for $6.8 million. But let me know what's the maximum you would pay for Khalil Mack on a 1 year deal, especially with us trying to go, we made it to the NFC Championship. our expectations have to be that has to be the floor, right? We're trying to go to a Super Bowl and win it next year. Like, we're already in those type of talks. Khalil Mack can only help that. But let me know how y'all feel about it. I don't want to sway y'all opinions. Please let me know how you feel about the whole Khalil Mack situation if you want to go do that. Of course, make sure you do not leave this video without stiff arming that like button. And also, remember that this video was sponsored by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. And please make sure, if you don't do nothing else, please make sure you gamble responsibly, man. I really appreciate y'all. I'm going to catch y'all later. I'm out.